Hi, I'm Michelle Lewis,
And I'm Craig Lewis,
and this is the Running Tales podcast.
which is all about this.
Hi, my name is Michelle Lewis. 10 years ago, you'd have been lucky to see me run to the end of the road. These days, running is second nature to me. From marathons to park runs to putting my own running group through their paces. You'll often see me in suitably loud attire, getting ready to pound the pavements. And here's a secret, if I can do it, you can too. There's so many wonderful and inspiring stories in the world of running. And not just running, some of my favourite tales involve those who take to their wheelchairs, bikes or simply their own trusty feet in an attempt to get fitter, faster or just have some fun. In this podcast, I'm going to be in conversation with some of the most inspiring and fascinating of these people. Remember, it's your time, your speed, your way. The only person you need to keep up with is yourself.
So we've been down to the Milton Keynes Marathon event today. It was a pretty amazing event, wasn't it?
It was, and it was really impressive when the winner came through and got the record for Milton Keynes under 2.5 hours.
Yeah, that's right. A chap called Michael Young. He came round in a course record of 2 hours 29, but the whole thing was just really well organised.
It was, and it was lovely to see so many locals and runners from all over that I've personally met in racing and park run taking part in this event.
Yeah, it's interesting because the reason we were down there was because you spoke to Adam Tango Holland last week, and we thought Adam might have a bit of a crack at that course record himself. He didn't quite make it today, did he?
No, and he had new trainers on as well, but he came all the way down in his Tavistock vest. But he came 8th in the marathon today, and that is pretty impressive in itself.
Yeah, it's amazing when you talk about these really fantastic runners. You sort of think, oh, he came in 2:42 and he came 8th, and then you think, hold on, he came in 2:42 and he came 8th. That's still incredible. But the reason we sort of get a little bit negative about it is because of the incredible record that someone like Adam Tango Holland has got.
True, you got to remember he's in his early 30s, but at the age of 23, he broke Steve Edwards' record of being the youngest person to achieve 100 marathons in the UK.
Yeah, that's right. He's a pretty phenomenal runner. I think he's actually won more marathons and ultras than anyone else in the UK. He's absolutely fantastic as a runner. You spoke to him last week. He's an interesting guy, and I think you started off by talking to him about how he first got into running.
I was pretty sporty because of my dad at school. I did a lot of sports activities and kind of worked my way up to where I am with the running by starting at school and then joining the local club.
How did you at school realise, okay, I like this? Like with myself, it was when I did the 1,500 metres and I was like, okay, I seem to be better at this long distance than like 100 metres, and started developing there. What moment with you at school did you discover the long distance, or was it not at school?
I don't think it was at school. I just enjoyed it, just running in general. I like the competition, so I did everything from short to long and then even longer later on. I didn't really have a moment, I think, where I said, yes, I really like this.
Okay, so then tell us how at 18, and if you ran your first marathon, what made you take up marathon training?
So the first one, I was 18, going on 19. I did very little training. I competed every weekend, so that was my training. It's really difficult because I don't drink. I didn't go out, and I genuinely just did sports when I was younger. So I played football, hockey, cricket. So I was always active. And then the only reason I got into marathon running is because my friend said he wanted to do 100 before he was a certain age. And I decided to look who to see the youngest was, and it was Steve Edwards at the age of 28. At the time, I'd only done 6 marathons, and I think I was 20 when I decided that I'd try and go for that record. And then I did 35 marathons that year, 39 the following year, and a load more, and I completed it on the 10th of the 10th, 2010 at the Eden Project when I was 23.
I'm doing the Eden Project this year for the
Very
first
nice.
time. Yes. So I'll get some advice from you later on.
Go for it.
So Steve Edwards, I've interviewed him on Running Tales and I've read his book, and I do see a mention about you doing your 100 and how later on you two got competitive on 10 marathons. What was it like when you met Steve?
I wouldn't say he was my inspiration. He was more my goal. I wanted to break his record. I'd never met him, never seen him. I had no idea who he was. And it wasn't until I took part in the Windermere Marathon. He'd just finished his 10 and 10 in 2008. And I saw him after he'd finished, and I told him that I was going for his youngest record. And he told me that record was there to be broken. And that's exactly the same words I tell anyone else now who tries to go after one of my records or beats someone else's records. The records is there to be broken. Because I wanted to get to the 100 marathons, I decided to apply to Brathwaite to take part in their 10 and 10 the following year. And that's when we had the head-to-head, and I ended up beating his 10 and 10 world record, 10 going back again and breaking my own world record. He probably did give me some advice, or he would have said some words to me, but because that was such a long time ago, I honestly can't remember.
Cannot remember.
No.
So on the average then over the, because it was from 18 to 23, how many marathons was your average in a year?
Average, it would have been roughly about 33 a year to get to the 100. Because I'd only done 6, and it was 3 years took me 3 years to get to 100.
Back then, and you're not that old because you're only in your early 30s, let's be kind here, marathon numbers, the participants in marathons has increased. How are you when you see the amount of people and seeing all walks of life taking part, whether it's for charity or if they're trying to break your record or whatever? How, as a marathon runner that had goals of trying to get 100 or 200, 300 marathons, see all this inspiration around you?
It's absolutely amazing to see all these different people, all their different achievements, people raising so much money for charity. And I love when people actually message me telling me what they're doing, and it's great to be able to support other people like they support me.
At the current time, are you over 300 marathons?
I, on Sunday, did my 485th.
Wow. So what is your current goal? 500? Or are you trying to catch up with Steve?
I don't have a goal per se, because I know I'll be past 500 by the end of this year, because in 2 weeks I have the Windermere 10 marathons in 10 days. I've also sorted out to try and do the the Great Barrow Challenge 10 and 10. And I've also just sorted out Lake Alta as well, 10 and 10.
Do you keep the majority of your marathons at home? Obviously, you've got a young family, so you want to try while they're still young. Do you go abroad? Because I first came across you in Cyprus. I did actually say hello to you because we did pass, but obviously you don't remember me back then. And how I got to know about you is obviously I knew you won, but it was the timing, because back then you were trying to get under 2 hours, and it was a big thing at Cyprus then, that you were trying to get under 2.5 hours at Cyprus because you'd never done it. Have you done it yet?
No. So the first year I ended up having a toilet break, and I had no one really chasing me, so I was able to slow down and still win it. The second year I ran, I think, just 2 minutes short of the course record. And then we had COVID, so we missed a year. And then December, they put it on instead of March. And it was really bad weather, and I had to follow the police car almost reversed into me on one of the turning pieces, and it really messed with my head and all the flashing lights. I couldn't watch TV for a month after coming back.
Oh, wow.
And I even struggled to watch things on my phone because it just really played with my head. I went back in January just to enjoy it, try and win it if I could, which I didn't. I came second, but I'm still really happy with how I got on. And again, it wasn't great weather. We had really strong winds. So I don't know if I'm going to go back next year, but I would like to. But there are other things I can have a go at differently, and maybe in a couple of years go back. I just noticed my Cyprus hat's just there.
I've got one of them. Cyprus, we've talked about. What other ones have you done abroad?
I've done Venice, and that was the year that the finish was all underwater.
Oh, wow, yeah. That was only a few years back, wasn't it? That wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, possibly 3 or 4 years ago. Because it finishes out, I don't know Venice very much, but at the end, you go across next to the sea, and they have bridges. But all you can see were the bridges in between the water, and you had to make sure that you stayed in near the houses, because if you went too far out, you'd be in the sea.
Oh, wow. That was a bit of a scary moment then. So that's a marathon you will not forget in a hurry.
No, my aim was to get under 3 hours, and I only just made it under 3 hours. And the last couple of miles or whatever it was really tough of trying to get through that water. But at the same time, it was different. It was unique. And I know they were talking about they should have cancelled it, but I'm kind of glad they went ahead and
they've done it. So what have you done any in America?
One.
What's that?
I think it's called Ventura, downhill marathon.
That's cheating.
No, it's not.
So where is that? Whereabouts is that in America then?
Somewhere in America.
Somewhere in America, you don't know. One I can recommend. I've only done one. Seattle. So if you like hills, I know where Seattle is. Definitely recommend Seattle. So we've worked out, a bit of geography from this.
I know. I with a lot of the races I've done, I don't know how I've ended up getting to them. I know where I'm going. I just don't know where I'm going. So, yeah.
No, that's quite interesting you saying that. So when you're in the marathon, and let's be honest, you do ridiculous times. Many people would be grateful to do a half marathon in the time that you do a marathon. What's your thought process? How's your thinking when you're going through? Because 2.5 hours, many of us are like double that time in marathons and thinking, good God, our feet, we've got blisters, and not saying that you don't have those things, but surely to keep you at the times that you're doing, what goes through your mind?
Probably a lot of the same things that other people are thinking about. So how my form, my pace, am I on target to what I want to be doing at that point? Have a look around, see the view, see who's running near me, see if someone is chasing me. There's no different to anyone else, just that I'm running it a little bit quicker.
Do you get a buzz if someone is close to you and you feel like I've got a bit of competition here?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
it does, especially if I want to go for a time. It will help me stay focused and get a good time and stick to what I'm trying to do. But there are times where it's not helpful, because I'm then either trying to chase the person in front of me or trying to stay ahead of the person that's behind me.
So what is your fastest time at the moment?
That was Loch Ness Marathon in 2:24:24.
Oh, wow. And that is definitely a hill training. So how much hill training did you do for that?
None.
None?
I didn't do
You're
any...
a not good advert here, Adam, for running.
Yeah, well, this has got put in a newspaper and it got put across wrong as well. It said that I don't do any training, which is technically true. I don't specifically do any training, but I race every weekend.
You don't need to.
That is my training. And I did I think it was 100 kilometer 2 or 3 weeks before I did that PB. And I don't know if because of that, I came into the marathon really fit, but I was buzzing. I've got a YouTube video of the Loch Ness Marathon, and I was happy and excited, ready going into it. And it just all
carried on.
Yeah.
You say, and from reading your Facebook posts at the moment, you are at the moment racing every weekend, sometimes Friday, Saturday and Sunday. I've recently did 3 marathons in one weekend. What is your average week of running, and what do you do any other training other than raining to keep as strong as you are?
So if I can, I race every weekend. During lockdown, it's been a little bit different because I've been doing a lot of virtual stuff.
Yeah, you've been doing videos on your treadmill.
Yes, I've done a lot of treadmill running with people from all over the world, because we run in a virtual world. So they're running on their treadmill, I'm running on my treadmill, but we're running at the same speed in this virtual world. And then there were virtual events where you would do a 10K or a half marathon. So I'd go somewhere and do that 10K or half marathon. And then my time would go against other people's time around the world.
But at the moment, what is your average week? Is it
just the racing I'm doing at the moment? So
you do nothing like Monday to Friday to get ready, like going to work, or do you cycle to work or walk to work, or just get in the car?
I get in the car because I work 30 miles away.
So you just sound like you're a machine that can just switch on and off with your body to run 26.2 miles.
Well, kind of. I work for Amazon in a warehouse. So I'm on my feet from like 6 till 12 all day for 5 days a week. So full time.
That's your strength training from all the parcels. Yes.
Like last week, I went out on the Wednesday to take part in a virtual event where I tried to get all 12 of their segments on one run, which I did. And then on the Friday, I went out for an 8 mile because there's a game I play where you have to try and collect land. And I went out and did like an 8 miler to collect some more land that I hadn't got. Little games and stuff I do just so, like segment hunting as well. I'll do that. If I know there's some segments, I'll go out and try and run that so that it makes me do some speed work. And at the same time, I get another segment.
Who is your running idol? There is so many out there now.
I don't have one.
You don't? There's not someone that you think, wow, like when I was a youngster, it was Dame Kelly Holmes. And when I met her, I was like, wow, because watching her on the Olympics and everything, there's never been a runner that's really like, wow. No?
Yeah, I've been wow for lots of different people, but nothing, because I'm rubbish with names anyway. I don't have anything like, I look up to Steve Edwards. I obviously like Mo Farah, fantastic runner, and all those other, but to me, they're just like me. They're another person trying to live their dream.
Talking about idols, and like I said, you are out there to other people as well, and people are following you, and how does it feel like from that first marathon at 18 to like now having all these followers and these people as passionate as you are, cheering you on, finding out what you're doing and feeding off what you do?
It's amazing, and I love all the support I get. And like Taunton Marathon is up the road from here, and running around the course, because I do the local park run, a lot of people knew who I was, and it was great having them out there cheering my name on, just shouting Tango or Adam, and just generally shouting at me, go on, get moving, a bit faster. He's catching you, even though he's not.
And Tango, where's that come from?
It's from college, because I like to wear orange, and I just happened to be a few weeks into college, and I was up a climbing wall, and no one kind of knew my name, and someone shouted up Tango, and it's stuck ever since.
It's just stuck since. Okay. Park run, you touched on that, my favourite subject. I'm a run director at Northampton Park Run, so I need to get you to say hello to everyone later. Have you volunteered? That is the question. Have you volunteered at Park Run?
Lots of times.
What's your favourite role?
Barcode scanner or timekeeper, because I can do my run and then help out afterwards.
Okay. And do you do a lot of tourism? So when you're going on these races, do you check, is there a park run on the Saturday nearby?
I do, and I think I've done 62 different ones now.
How many park runs in total?
I am on 230.
Oh, wow, well done.
And I'm on 198 first place.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. So anyone that is starting running, definitely. What advice would you give to these people?
Yeah, go out, enjoy it, meet the team, meet everyone who's there, say hello even though you don't know them, because it might be their first one, so they might be a little bit nervous too. find someone to run with, or you can run or walk on your own and then come back another week. And if you see someone that you saw there last week, introduce yourself, and you make amazing friends that will last forever.
And what would you say to anyone that is thinking of doing a marathon for the first time?
Easy. Don't think about the time, just enjoy the experience.
Love it. I love it. I agree with you there. And I have to ask, what would you say to anyone that is now chasing your record of 100 marathons at an early age?
Bring it on and do it.
Bring it on.
I'm really hoping that one of my daughters might do the female record when they're older.
Oh, okay. So you're going to be a pushy dad till then, are you?
I'm not pushy. My eldest does a little bit of running, but it's the 4-year-old that I think will be. Yeah, she's done a few junior park runs and she's done one adult one, but I think it'll be the 4-year-old that will be the runner, because she doesn't. Even when you ask her to walk, she'll run.
Oh, so she's got a dad's genes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Have you ever failed at doing a marathon?
No, yes, I have.
Okay.
Yeah, there is one marathon I started but didn't finish, and that was the Cornish Marathon.
And what happened there? Was it just not prepared enough? Injury?
No, I was fine. It was more mental side of things, because they gave the finishing medal before we started, and it kind of threw me off. And I don't know if it was cold and I just wasn't up for it. And we started, and then I just kind of didn't carry on. So I stood at the drink checkpoint and cheered a few of the other runners on, and then just made my way back to the start.
This is good to hear, Adam, because many of us have lost our running mojo, and COVID didn't help having that break, and not having races. Are you a big advocate yourself on mental health?
Yeah, I know how rough and tough it has been over the last 2 years. For me, like, my running helps me with my mental side, and it's been tough, hasn't it? And it's been hard not being able to take the children places as well.
Yeah. Do they come with you? Do they come with you on the races now, or do you just go off and then come back?
They've started coming to one or two of them, but we still keep them away from crowds and stuff, just so that they stay healthy and don't get the dreaded virus.
Yeah, true. So, what is your favourite race?
I don't have one.
You don't? Okay.
As you can see, I'm quite laid back.
I won't ask you the worst after what you just described with your, with the mental block. But what about your best experience then? Not your best race, but your best experience. So, like, I know the Venice one. That's an experience, running underwater, basically.
I've got loads of great experiences. So I can start off with my 100, because as I was coming down to the finish, I was jumping up and they could see my head bobbing up and down, and then running across the line, seeing everyone there cheering me on as I finished the marathon. GBC, doing their different marathons, getting my world record for the 10 and 10. I gave Steve Edwards a hug after we finished. And I think there is a picture somewhere of us hugging. It's kind of cute.
Okay, a lovely romantic picture there. Yeah. Do you prefer road running or trail running?
Trail.
Yeah, why trail? Just because it takes you off the beaten track, or?
Beaten track, you get to see lovely places that you wouldn't normally get to see because you drive on the roads. And also, you don't have to run as fast. If you're doing like a road race, you're generally trying to run at a fast time, but trail is kind of being more relaxed, I guess.
From what you've experienced and achieved, and like I said, you are in your very early age of the 30s, what would you say to an 18-year-old Adam back then?
I wouldn't want to change anything. Things are the way they're supposed to be. You can't change what's the past. You just live for the future.
And what's next for Adam? I know that you've got asked by many to write a book. Is that going to happen?
I am in the middle of doing Q&As for this book. So maybe sometime next year or possibly the year after, there will be a book. We've just got to, between us, get all the relevant information together and see what we can get together. So
Are you quite
crossed, yeah.
excited about this?
I am excited because it's something that I've been asked loads of times, and it's something that I inquired into 5 years ago, and that person at the time was in the middle of doing a book, and now that that person isn't doing a book at the moment, they need a new project, and this is where hopefully my new book will come from.